Great, so we've created a site. Now we want to get it online, okay? We're going to use, you need a host and a domain name, okay? So you generally buy those together. I've got a whole course on buying domain names and hosting. We're just going to do the quick version here to get you going. Okay, so log in to your account. I'm going to use GoDaddy. It's the world's biggest, most popular hosting. If you've got something else, it's not far off. There'll be slight quirks, okay? So what we're going to do is I'm going to log in to my account. Okay, so what I want to do is go to web hosting. We've already bought our web hosting and paid for a domain name. Okay, we've got the basic hosting. Go to manage. Wait for it to load. Okay, you're looking for this thing called FTP accounts. Okay, so file transfer protocol. It's how you upload your website to your hosting service. Okay, so you create one. You put in here, you're going to call this one testing. You give it your name. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to be an email address. It kind of looks like it, but no, you just make up anything in here. Give it a password. Make sure it's a really good one, not like my one here. Okay, really simple one. I'm going to go and delete this account just in case right after this. Now, the big thing when using GoDaddy is that, can you see it put in our username here? It's going to make a subfolder, not what I want. Okay, oh, it needs to go into public_HTML. That's kind of traditionally where things go. Okay, now if you're using somebody else hosting, they'll tell you whether it's, sometimes it has htdocs and some names and public, and nearly always though it has public_HTML. It's like the root of everything that it goes into. Okay, click create account. Great, and the only thing we need to know now is, well, we need to remember our username and password. So let's jump into Dreamweaver. Let's open up our site and go to manage sites. So we were, here's Downspout Follow. We made this right at the beginning, right? That's the one where and here remember we did the local folder on our hard drive and we told it where the images went. Now what we're going to do is go to this one called servers and then hit plus. And in here, we're going to call it GoDaddy. It doesn't really matter what you call in here. FTP, perfect, the FTP address. Now this can, if you're not using GoDaddy, this can be different. Bring your own laptop, there's my one, .com. Okay, sometimes it doesn't need the FTP for some hosts. Okay, in this case it does. The username was testing at bring your own laptop. Now again, sometimes some hosting just need the username. Okay, they don't need all of this junk. Password, put that in. Oops. Yep, and now you're going to hit test and you're going to cross your fingers. Yay, connected successfully. Now, that worked for me because I know what I'm doing. Hosting is by far the hardest bit to get set up. Okay, now don't be afraid if it's still not working. You're like, you've tested it, you've tried without the FTP, without this username. Other things you can try is down here, the root directory. Sometimes you need to put in a public_HTML /. Down here, sometimes under more options, you need to turn off passive FTP. Okay, there's a few little things you can play around with, but my advice is don't stress too far or too long. Just email the hosting company, send them a screenshot of this here and say, this is the details I need. What is it? And often they'll just send you the details and you just plug them in. Okay. Yeah, so now what you do is hit save, hit done. Great, click OK, great. And now what you do is you go up to site. So it's connected now, but nothing's really happened. Okay, you've got this thing called the local, and you've got this other one now called remote. And that's what we want. Local's on our machine, remote is GoDaddy. It's their hosting service. And we go to site and we go to put. Okay, and you hit put. It's going to go through and connect, and then it's going to ask you, would you like to put up the dependent folders? Okay, and you click yes. Dependent files are things like, it's going to put the HTML up, but then it needs to put the CSS up. There's other CSS, some JavaScript. It goes through and puts up all the images. I'm going to hit cancel in this case. Why? Because at the moment, I'd upload this weird, not weird, but this portfolio over top of my website called bringyourlaptop.com. Yeah, I don't want to do that. But what you do is that it'd run through, then you'd go to bringyourlaptop.com or your URL, and your portfolio should be there. Now, if it doesn't, drop me a line, okay, in the comments, and I'll give you a hand. Definitely connecting the server up is the hardest bit for anybody. It's still hard for me. I hate it when I get a new host or someone using a client's new host and I have to work out all the different settings. All right, that's how to connect a site using GoDaddy. Yeah, that'll be it for this video.